I'm back from Texas. I'm reunited with Kashi, who is just down here eating some lunch. Boston is giving me a not so warm welcome because it's really windy today. It's basically like 40 mile up to 45 mile per hour wind gusts. So that's awesome. I have a hankering for stuffed shells, and I need to get some of the ingredients and also just go grocery shopping in general. So I'm bundling up. I'm gonna brave the elements for my little walk to the grocery store. Didn't even know this was possible, but my ZZ plant is flowering. Hello? What's up? I'm having some friends over tonight and I'm making Detroit style pizza. I'm experimenting with two different versions of the dough. I used King Arthur's Detroit pizza recipe. I did one batch following the recipe pretty much to a T. Little experimental half a batch where I substituted some of the flour and water for my sourdough starter. I have made this recipe before just using the regular yeasted dough, and it's turned out great. But I haven't made it for a while, so I kind of wanted to do both to see how my sourdough version compares to the as written version. Lately I've been making this olive herb topping for when I make homemade pizza. I originally got the idea from a TikToker. Her name is Haley something. Yeah, I originally got the idea from Haley Catalano. I just serve it with the pizza, and you can dip your crust in it. You can put it all over your pizza. It's just really good, especially if you like olives. gonna show you Kashi's top secret nap spot. You can't even see her. Coincidentally, or maybe not coincidentally at all, I've been working through 2 queer coming of age novels by Nigerian authors. The first book I've already finished. This is Freshwater by Akweke Emezi. And then the second book is Blessings by Chukwuebuka Ibe, which has a stunning cover. I love this portrait. As I said, these are both queer coming of age novels. Freshwater, I think, is semi-autobiographical of Akweke Emezi's experience growing up with a fractured sense of self due to trauma and other things. The writing in this was like unlike anything I've ever read. It really like takes a hold of you, and you really feel the main character Ada's pain. Blessings has also been a kind of painful read. This follows a boy growing up called Obefuna. His father discovers that he's queer and sends him to a really brutal and strict seminary school, or like a preparatory school. It switches perspectives between Obefuna and his mother. The thing that really sticks out to me in this book is this like really rigid and quite violent idea of masculinity. How helpless the characters feel to like escape that idea of masculinity. I mean, yeah, like you see Obefuna experiencing at school how the senior boys will just like ridicule and bully and like physically assault the younger boys in order to like build up their tolerance for this. And it's seen as a reward when you grow up to be the senior who can inflict these things on your juniors, and there's not really any incentive for young boys to like break out of that cycle, because then they would just be sticking their neck out and inviting more violence onto themselves. And at the same time, the perspectives from Obefuna's mother, you can tell that she feels helpless because she can see that her son feels more free when he's not, holding himself to this idea, to the rules of the patriarchy. But she just doesn't know how else to protect him, because she sees how people who are queer or don't express their gender in like a traditionally binary way are treated. yeah, that's what I'm currently reading right now.
Is a philosophical treatise, an anthem, and a searing study of the transitions into and away from.
I finished Blessings last night. The last few chapters of the book go through Obifuna's college years as he's kind of like growing into adulthood, and it's set on the backdrop of Nigeria criminalizing same-sex marriage, relations, sex, and all of the violence that ensues against the queer community there. So it was a pretty rough last few chapters. Hold on, let me share a passage. What he felt now, he realized more than betrayal, more than hurt, was despair for all people of their kind all over the country, building relationships, investing so much of themselves over time. How do you begin something beautiful with certainty of its end? You gave yourself over to love and lived the rest of your life knowing you never stood a chance. Rough. I mean, I love reading queer coming of age type novels, but very rarely are they like uncomplicated, easy breezy reads. But yeah, I recommend checking this out as a newer release. I think for my next couple of books, I need to read something more lighthearted. I need to go to the library to pick up A Hold, but I was also thinking of reading this book finally, which has been on my shelf for a long time. This is Wow, No, Thank You by Samantha Irby, and these are like comedy essays. It's a collection of essays. Reading update. I gave Wow, No, Thank You by Samantha Irby a good college try. Samantha Irby is funny, like there's no doubt. She has a great sense of humor, but it just like wasn't really my sense of humor. So after the first couple essays, I just wasn't into it. So I DNF'd it, and like I said before, this has been on my bookshelf for a while, so I think it's time for it to go, maybe to a little free library. But speaking of what my sense of humor is like, I finished my year of rest and relaxation this weekend. Characters of Dr. Tuttle and Riva specifically, I found them like so vivid. Like I could picture them so vividly, and they were just like really entertaining characters. I found myself chuckling a lot at their dialogue. If I meet someone and they like this book because they enjoy the satire and appreciate the commentary, the writing, etc., that's cool, because same, I liked all those things about this book. If people like this book because they see themselves in it or like relate to any of these characters, I'm running away, because to me this book is like a litmus test in the same way that The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath and Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger are, where it's like you're allowed to like those books. That's fine. They're classics for a reason. This, I think, will be a classic from our time. But if you relate to them, if you see yourself in them, if you make it your personality, go to therapy, because what?
Completion story test, a story about a tree. The alternate use test.
Last night I went to a screening of Mulholland Drive at the Coolidge, and before the screening they had a professor talk about the science of dreams. He basically just went through a couple of theories and some research on the function of dreams for the human mind. And I'm pretty interested in dreams. Anyway, thoughts on Mulholland Drive. Shout out LA. I don't really have any concrete thoughts about Mulholland Drive, as I'm sure the rest of the world is with me on that. It's a very trippy, atmospheric movie, but I think the things that stood out to me were how David Lynch was really able to capture the like absurdity of dreams. How after the movie I just kept thinking about, like, no matter how you explain this movie to someone who's never seen it, it's just gonna sound like a really strange dream.